Old man Woody likes the crooked cock.
Are you into anything like that?
No, I don't watch any sports.
Do you watch a lot of powerlifting or like bodybuilding YouTube channels?
I used to when I was into that stuff.
Okay.
Aren't you getting back into it now? Like
Yeah,
fitness,
I mean, I already know everything there is to know about fitness, for myself at least, and I'm content with what I know and my knowledge. So I don't really care to look at YouTube videos anymore. But when I was first starting out, I was like very interested in getting to know about everything.
That's kind of where I am. I thought that I was knowledgeable like back in the 90s, but like things have changed since then, like what people like, compound versus isolation and diet and stuff. So I started watching videos just to get my form right. And I also show them to Colin, who's maybe never seen it. I'm working out with my son. And then YouTube just like, oh, this guy likes, fitness and weightlifting videos. So it pushes more on me. And I'm just watching. And now all my like YouTube suggestions are guys with no shirts.
I mean, when I used to be the same thing with me. It's not gay. I mean, it's normal. I mean, I used to be into, looking at bodybuilders and stuff. And I don't think it's gay to look at a half naked man.
No,
it's context.
In my head, I like temporarily get this weird body dysphoria. Like I see these guys doing pull-ups and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably what I look like when I do pull. No, I'm getting a little better, and if I look carefully, I see like the best aspects of my changes. But if you look critically, it's a dad bod that we're still cleaning up.
We gotta get you on some roids.
I thought hard about the roids. I still think hard about the roids.
And you're gonna
someone in my universe is doing them now, so I can maybe just trail him by a couple months and get some like opinions. And but
are they doing it for fun, like to get ripped again, or like medically? Okay.
Yeah. So the guy that is doing them in my universe now is doing it just to, like be the best version of him. But there's another person I know that did it medically. And he had issues with like swollen prostate afterwards and like other serious stuff that it's like, oh, is it really worth it? And it like increases your risk of cancer. And I'm like, man, and how long does it even last? Like if you TRT your way to a better body, it's not worth it to me if 4 months later I have my old body back.
It depends which. So it depends on what you're taking, right? Like I was, I think with testosterone, you keep a lot of what you've done, but with like something like Tren or Dianabol or something, I think that those are more short term. They wear off pretty quickly after. We've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, Chiz and I, about steroids and stuff, and yeah, he just mentioned a thing. I wouldn't have said their names publicly.
It's on ISIS stream, I'm sure.
I know it is. Yeah.
Steroids are not good. They're not worth it at all.
You think they're not worth it?
No, because you lose your body is not going to make its own testosterone anymore, and you're going to fucking, go bald early, and you're going to fucking, when you get off the testosterone, your body's not going to make its own, so now you're going to be like a fucking woman.
Dude, well, you have all over the place with it. Let me just ramble for a second. Like I was watching Matt Serra. He's on TRT, right? And I saw him shirtless, and while he's not the ideal body type, it's like, whoa, he's way better than I thought he was. And he's like, dude, for the way I eat, I should look a lot worse. And it's like, fuck. And I'll see guys, like a natural guy who works really hard might look like Ice did, right? But I see that in my head and think, I can achieve maybe like 20% of what these great guys have achieved. And then I'll see a guy on steroids and what they accomplish. And I'm like, ooh, 20% of that would be pretty good. Like I don't think I can match any of these guys because it's either knowledge or age or how late I'm starting or whatever. But if I'm only going to get a quarter as good as them, well, shit, a quarter as good as these roid heads is not bad. And these are the thoughts that go in my head.
So there's lots. It's not just testosterone that you're going, right? You take things to keep your balls from like going inactive and like shrinking up. There's a drug to do that.
It's a cocktail.
There's drugs to block the gynoplasty and the other side effects, right? Mm-hmm. And there's drugs to kick your body back into making the testosterone after you go off your cycle, right? You can't do this as an amateur. You really need someone to like hold your hand through this thing who knows exactly what they're talking about. You don't need pseudoscience, and you don't need like internet like fucking research to guide you through it. You need a doctor. You need a sports medicine doctor.
Well, after you're done taking it, and let's say the whole process is done, you're weaned off of it with the doctor. Mm-hmm. Like, how fast do all of your gains even stay? Or not how fast? How long? Because there's no way they're gonna.
It depends on the drug. So with TRT, you stay on it. It's not a cycle. You're on TRT now. Now your testosterone levels are supplemented forever. You don't stop taking TRT necessarily. I mean, you can, of course, like you can stop taking anything, but the idea would be to be on it now. And you'd go get your testosterone checked regularly. And if it's low or too high, they'll adjust your dosage. But if you're on steroids, it's going to depend on the specific steroid you're taking and whether it's something like testosterone or it's something much more powerful like trim. You know, there's all kinds of stuff you can take that'll do different things depending on what you want.
Why would you want to do that though? Why would you want to take like a million different drugs just to make your body look better?
Vanity.
I feel like that answers itself.
Vanity. Yeah,
why would you take a million drugs to make your body look better? Well,
I mean, it's just not worth it. It's those drugs are very expensive and they're very that's fucking hard to do. You got to like time everything correctly and shit. Just work out without the drugs. It's easier.
I've been doing that.
I agree.
I've been working out what I consider. Well, I've been working out for 5 weeks. I would say that the first 7, like the first week, I was kind of not working out very hard, getting my form in, easing slow. But anyway, working out for 5 weeks. My diet has been really clean for maybe just the last like 2 weeks. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see where it takes me.
Yeah, man. If I were eligible for TRT, I'd just fucking take it. Why not? Why not be more of a man than you naturally are, right? And if you got I feel like you've got a doctor there. The one thing I wouldn't do, which is fucking retarded, and like you see like 16, 17-year-old high school athletes that are just like shooting fucking testosterone into their ass and stuff like that with no medical supervision or anything like that, and they're getting crazy side effects and going into rages when the testosterone mixes with their normal like hormonal state of going through puberty and stuff like that. Like that's insanity, right? Like you'd never do that. But if there were a sports medicine doctor, right, who was going to monitor all of your blood work, he's like, well, you're going to be on a cocktail of stuff because we're going to make sure you get no side effects. We're going to make sure your balls don't shrink up to peas. And we're going to make sure that when you come off this cycle in 6 weeks that you start making your own testosterone again. I don't see the downside of that.
Just like,
I mean, shorter lifespan, but
right. Like, so
going bald. Maybe.
I haven't mentioned anyone else by name, but my mother-in-law just died of cancer, right? And it's like, I don't know. I just had a front row seat to one of the side effects of steroids. Well, she wasn't on steroids, but
it was a lifter.
Well, but,
I was like, what?
No, hers wasn't because of steroids, but steroids can give you what she had, which
I
is
understand.
like, yeah.
Yes.
So it's just like, you know, I don't know. There's a fountain of youth there, and it's appealing.
Steroids are only give you that fountain of youth if you stay on them, though. You know, my dad took steroids for a month, and you know he got way bigger, and he was able to lift a hell of a lot more weight while he was on the steroids for a month. But the moment he came off the steroids, literally 2 weeks later, he lost that weight and he lost that fucking strength that the steroids gave him in like
really?
2 weeks.
So I feel like there's like, I don't know, a UFC fighter here or there who some of them just melt. I could name names like Vitor Belfort, and some of them it's like, you know, I think though that he's held on to more than he would have gained had he been natural all that time. If that makes any sense. You know, if steroids took him to a 10, he dropped to a 9. But if he was never on steroids, that guy would have been an 8.
I mean, I guess, I don't know. When you work out, I feel like you should work out to be healthy, and steroids aren't very healthy to take. So, you know, in the long run, I think it'd be better. Because would you rather be bigger as a 40-year-old, or would you rather be a 70-year-old that's fucking ripped?
And alive.
And alive, yeah.
Who would have thought ice would be such a voice of
reason?
And
well, I mean, I used to work out, so I mean, I'm very against steroids, so I don't know.
And like Kyle, I know like the cocktail of drugs, like you'd be doing it with a professional, but like it's not always going to go off without a hitch. Like people's endocrine systems are different. Like the amount of hormones you create or don't create, like you're not going to necessarily bounce back the same way as the optimal patient. Like you might start growing tits afterward. Like maybe you go through 2 months afterward of, oh shit, I thought my test was back where it was, but it actually was that of a 70-year-old woman, and I feel frail with weak bones or whatever. Like there's too much risk when you could just work out regularly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on fucking steroids or anything, but I'm just saying.
Oh, I know. But
that would be the way.
Of all of us, you're the most likely to do it.
Oh, well, I mean, you know, if there was a doctor who explained things the way I just like made up pseudoscience, made them up and convinced me, sure, why not? Like, why the fuck not? Like that's just the way I see it. I would do it. Absolutely. Like, and I bet it wouldn't even be that expensive. I bet you could get like, if it costs like $2,000, right? but it made your workouts 4 times more effective or something like that. It's like, yeah, that's worth it. That's worth it.
It's only worth it if I knew what post steroids were like, like because I guess I wasn't thinking I'd be on TRT for life. I was thinking I'd use TRT to get where I wanted, and even if I backed off 10% from that, hey, look where I am now. But I don't know if I'd ever get there without them. I don't know. We'll see. And I haven't done it the natural way long enough.
Yeah, you want some HGH too? Get some human growth hormone. Want some fucking centrifused blood platelets?
Want some
blood
giant
doping?
heads.
Oh, Kyle, you said there was something that actually blocked estrogen, a drug you take?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't block it. There's all kinds. I know people take Clomid. Yeah, I know people take Clomid, which is like a breast cancer treatment kind of drug. You want some estrogen in your system, obviously, right? But it prevents it from going rampant on you. And there's stuff to block the gynoplasty, which is they call bitch tits and other.
Well, I have that.
No, you're too skinny to have bitch tits.
I don't believe that. Yes.
No, I do. Look at this. I have one.
Can you get a little lower?
So, right there.
I mean, it looks like a pec to me.
Yeah. See, if the nipple's at the bottom, it's a pectoral. If the nipple's in the middle, it's a man boob.
Yeah. He just wanted to show us.
No. This is a lot more. It's hard to see, but it's a lot more like booby than this one.
It is see what he's talking about.
I would not say that is a man boob at all. But who knows? Maybe have you ever been fat before?
Have you ever seen Wings of Redemption? I ended on that note. I love the wordplay.
That was the best shit I've ever heard.